fast because also eating cereal. Okay. I guess we start now. Hopefully, let me turn on the. Oh, okay. Play.
Now, Verify contains some.
This is the latest episode of Tech Linked, literally from 9 hours ago. Cool. Okay.
Bonkers tech news right off the bat. Here's some of it. The Nintendo Switch 2's motherboard has leaked in photos posted on Reddit. And while normally I'd sprinkle in some allegedlys in here, the sheer quantity of Switch 2 leaks in recent months is making it pretty easy to see which ones overlap. This motherboard not only has USB-C ports in the right places on the top and bottom, but it matches up with a...
Okay, also, does anyone here have a Switch? I never got a Switch. I was probably gonna get me a Steam Deck at some point, or if I want like portable gaming. But in all honesty, I just use my phone for most of the stuff. Like, dude, if I want emulation, I just use my phone for like GBA games or something like that.
Previous leak showing the other side of the PCB attached to what is certainly the Switch 2 panel, and I've never been more sure of anything in my life. Do we live in a simulation? I don't know, but that's the Switch 2. One image shows the NVIDIA processor, with text indicating it was built on a slightly older Samsung 8nm node, leading some to express concerns that the console's graphics won't be able to render Mario's nipples at the 4K and 60 FPS they deserve. Others, like YouTuber The Wolf Den, aren't as worried. LOL ratio! In fact, Nintendo just filed a patent yesterday, spotted by Laura Kate Dale on Blue Sky, that describes upscaling techniques. And since NVIDIA's DLSS is the best in the game, I'm sure the Switch 2 will do justice to whatever nips may slide on to its display. Sounds painful. So when the heck is Nintendo gonna speak up about this console? Well, they're gonna talk about it sometime in the next 3 months, according to the Game Awards Twitter account.
Oh, okay.
Look, Jeff Keighley's just protecting his shy Japanese mega corporation friend. See, they're just not ready yet. That was Jeff Keighley. I haven't worked on it. In other leaks that seem surprisingly legit news, Half-Life 3.
What?
It seems like it's happening. YouTuber and data miner Gabe Follower, who's been responsible for some reliable info in the past, claims his sources say Valve has begun friends and family playtesting for the project codenamed HLX, which is strongly believed to be Half-Life 3. His video goes through many more breadcrumbs, but speculation was truly set ablaze when Mike Shapiro, the voice actor for Half-Life characters G-Man and Barney, tweeted a video speaking in a G-Man-esque voice and teasing unexpected surprises in the new year.
Unexpected surprises.
The last time Shapiro did something like this was back in...
Wait. Are you saying are we gonna have to get a new meme?
in 2020 during the launch of Valve's VR title Half-Life Alyx. Now, this may be solid proof that we can soon expect at least another Half-Life game. It may also be a promo for Shapiro's own music, given that the painting shown in the video is the art from the 2-week-old Mike Shapiro single, Best Long Dog.
Dog in the world.
If that's the case, I will be disappointed, but happy for Mike and his reportedly very good and lengthy pet. California's
Okay.
ban on what it calls addictive feeds for minors on social platforms was approved by a federal judge on New Year's Eve in the world's latest attempt to stop whatever is happening to Gen Alpha. We don't understand it, but we know its aura is High Key, Ohio, which is not goals at all. Did you understand that?
High Key, Ohio?
Yes.
Why Ohio?
Just, you gotta look it up. The
I don't get it.
companies like Meta, Snap, and ByteDance will be forced to make significant changes to their social apps to prevent minors from accessing algorithmic feeds fed by their personal data. Why don't those companies sue to stop this? Well, they did. After Bill SB 976 was signed into law in September, industry group NetChoice sued to block it from taking effect. And indeed, Judge Edward J. Davila did block many of the bill's key elements, but upheld the ban on addictive feeds. Social platforms will also not be able to send minors notifications from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and from midnight to 6 a.m. Go to sleep, kids. You can have brain rot for breakfast.
Yeah,
Even
sounds
better, you can
great.
wake up and build a website with our sponsor Odoo and their code-free, easy-to-use drag-and-drop elements. They provide unlimited hosting, reliable support, and a free custom domain for an entire year. I know, you're having trouble processing how great that sounds. Well, guess what? They also adapt your content for all devices. They provide a ChatGPT-powered copywriter to help with brain stuff, and they have live chat and help desk tickets for support if you need help with anything. Look, just hit the link in the description to create a website for, which I honestly wasn't expecting, but okay. Honey, the scam posing as a coupon finding service, has been hit by a class action lawsuit filed by a group
Ooh,
of
wait, Legal Eagle?
including Wendover Productions and Legal Eagle, aka Devin Stone.
Oh,
He says
shit.
After watching YouTuber Megalag's recently posted expose, he was furious. Presumably because he found out about Honey stealing influencers' affiliate link commissions, and not because he couldn't understand Megalag's Kiwi accent.
Whoa!
What? I understood him fine. I just thought, isn't it cool that people talk differently? Pornhub parent company ILO has blocked access to its network of adults websites in Florida and South Carolina, who just joined a list of 16 other U.S. states who have passed age.
Don't you love internet freedom in America where porn is fucking banned in like what, a third of the states? Like, come on, dude. What the fuck is this shit? Fucking people sicking me.
verification laws to prevent minors from accessing adult content. It was 17 other states, but a judge blocked the law in Tennessee, and an investigative Redditor from the state confirmed they can still access the site. Doing the hard work so you don't have to, or in case you can. That was a pun. A map from 404 Media shows that ILO sites are now blocked across nearly half the country.
Oh, half? Okay.
Which, I don't know why you would. The U.S. Treasury Department says
you know, yeah, I have opinions.
that Chinese hackers broke into several workstations and accessed classified documents in
Oh,
what
shit.
the agency called a major cybersecurity incident, as opposed to the normal ones that happen every Tuesday. The breach comes as U.S. government officials are still trying to get
And that usually just happens because some pizza guy comes in, you know, puts a flash drive in, goes all, you know, Ocean's 11 on this shit.
hackers out of the country's telecoms networks, which is hard when they can squeeze through gaps the width of a pencil or the length of a human hair or something. They squish their bones flat or something. I don't get it. And a software engineer helping to maintain the Diaspora Federated Social Network said that while investigating load spikes in the project's infrastructure, he discovered that around 70% of requests received by those websites are sent by bots collecting data to train large language models. Bots from OpenAI, Amazon, and Anthropic apparently come back to crawl the same web page every 6 hours and manage to evade every attempt to block them, unlike the crawlers from Google and Bing, which still remember how to behave decently.
That's kind of insane. Because, like, you got OpenAI and all these little, like, you know, AI companies And I just keep requesting data over and over and over again to get like the latest fucking batch, which is insane. And because the internet's kind of like, open, if people just get it for free or they steal it. Yeah.
These younger bots, though, they're
But no
skipping
compensation.
all over the place. I never did that. But I did ask you to come back for tech news, and so I shall again. Friday is when there will be more, so
Oh, cool.
see you then.
I check it out Friday. Which was, yeah.
Why are you still looking at me? well, this is awkward.
Are you afraid of knives? So you
What is
turn
this?
to
The risk and
doorways,
fall of
doorsteps.
infomercials?
Have you survived over 30 years on this earth without learning how to crack an egg,
Huh?
the most basic skill in cooking? Are you a weak toddler or trying to plunge your toilet with a shake weight? Sitting down with a little snack is hard. Or when the neighborhood burglar steals your coffee table and you have nowhere to put your popcorn. Duh! It's
I love all these overreactions of all these people, because it's like, to be fair, I'm a clumsy person. Overall, I'm a very, very clumsy person. So there have definitely been situations where I've had chips and dip or something, and I almost spilled on the couch, or spilled my food just walking with nothing stopping me. I've hit like my shoulder against the wall before, and just drop shit. It happens. But like this is like overreacting, overacting. There we go. Not reacting, acting. Yeah.
It's no secret that the cable TV industry is dying, but we swear you should invest in infomercials. Infomercials are still a good way to advertise. Or no, they're not. But they are. Huh? Ah, the infomercial. The formulaic long form of advertisement, ranging from cookware to cleaning agents, to stuff we all wanted as kids.
With fun slides, amazing carpet skates that glide, slide, or ride. You decide.
And maybe you've stayed up at night wondering, or maybe not. Are infomercials still around? Do they still exist? Nearly a lot of % of Americans have canceled their cable TV packages within the past year, and it's evident that this decline is nothing new and not slowing down, especially with the rise of streaming services. What supplemented infomercials back in the day were their 30-second counterparts, those 30-second ad blocks in between episodes of SpongeBob. But while those 30-second ad blocks have evolved to fit today's landscape on Hulu, Netflix, YouTube, and other streaming services like Freevee, infomercials seem to be
Okay, she's like, making a joke about Phoebe. Dude, okay, a lot of the free services like Tubi and Pluto and stuff that offer like usually live stuff with ads. Like Roku has one, Flex has this, but it's like, like live channels with ads and stuff. Those are still good. Like, dude, I was watching the on Pluto TV. On Pluto TV, I was watching the Crunchyroll channel. Like, dude, there's anime I probably would not watch. I'm like, oh, this is fucking kind of legit. I like it or I don't like it. But later on, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go, go rent this or go, go buy it or whatever. Because that's what TV used to be. You turn the channel that you want to watch it, then boom, and you see the ads. And the ads on those, on Pluto, are very fucking repetitive. But like, back then they were also repetitive. Maybe not as much, but it happens.
dying out. Or they've just evolved to be excruciatingly long, unskippable ads on Twitch. But real quick before we get started, if you have no clothes, well, have I got good news for you. If you like what I'm wearing, description that livid care, laugh at infomercials and make fun of them all we want.
Don't delay. Order your Betty Crocker bacon film now.
Now and find out about free shipping. But it gets even better. We'll
It gets even better.
Price in half, only $19.95. You'll also receive a squirt bottle and a super chamois. Absolute.
The funny thing is, usually when they go from the infomercial to like the general market stores, like if you go to like a Walgreens or a CVS, it's usually like an as seen on TV item, right? Or like a Walmart, and usually that is cheaper than what they sell on the actual infomercial. So it's like, are you actually getting a good deal or not? Or are you just up at like 3 to 4 in the morning and you have insomnia, you can't sleep because you've been doing a bunch of AP note cards for past like 4 or 5 hours, and then you spilt the candle and it broke everywhere in your room, and now you're like trying to clean it up before your parents get into the room and I'm wondering what you're doing. So you're like, okay, I'm fucking tired as shit. I'm gonna go buy a vacuum cleaner bag dispenser, blah blah blah. Or you get some like, hey, I will make money off of eBay. Just buy this course. Might have happened to me before.
Absolutely free. That's the amazing Easy Cracker with egg separator and the Easy Scrambler.
But we all remember so many of these infomercial products to this day because they were successful.
Stickers and the Tiger poster.
They were successful via infomercials. As much as we think, who actually watches this stuff? While they were the most iconic and memorable advertisements on TV.
But then we discovered the Sunsetter retractable awning.
I couldn't tell you about the commercials that happened in between my shows, but good golly, I can tell you about OxyClean.
But good golly, Miss Molly.
Zoo Books and Mighty Putty and the Titty Bear.
The Titty Bear.
That's Tiddy.
That's Tiddy Bear.
Fun Slides, the ShamWow, the Snuggie, Pet Egg.
Getting rid of them can be a real pain. Until now.
Gross. You get the idea. So, are infomercials still around? Yes. And we'll get to that later in this video. But if you're looking for a statistic on like how many are left, and if they still have the influential power that they did back then, well, I couldn't find a single source that matched with another. For cable TV too, it made writing this video extremely frustrating and difficult. It's almost like these companies don't want you to have the stats, to further deny or hide the reality that cable TV is dying and taking infomercials along with it. This website says there are 95 million people who have canceled cable TV, which is not 35% of the US population, it's 29%. But this website says that cable subscriptions have lost 20 million subscribers since 2014, which also doesn't add up with the last source, because that would mean that the other 65 million people canceled prior to 2014, which is definitely not true. And then Forbes says that actually 50 million people have canceled.
I'm trying to remember when I stopped, like my family stopped getting like cable, and I want to say it was close to. It was at some point I'm the one that had it in my name, and I never had cable. I want to say that's when I turned 18, but I'm pretty sure we didn't have cable still. Before that, for like at least a few years, so I want to say like 2010 is when we stopped having cable. Or at least I didn't have cable in my room. I think that's what it was. Because with cable, if you don't have, that's the thing, right? With cable, if you don't have, it doesn't run like a Wi-Fi. It was old school. So if there was no cable plug or whatever line in that room, you would have to get a splitter. And a splitter would basically take one cable signal and then divide it into two, and then you would put one in one room and then the other one would go to a different room. And those are like really thick wires, so sometimes the doors don't close, and it's just a mess. But now we just have Wi-Fi with TVs with built-in, stuff.
Canceled cable since 2014. But the other website says there will be 80 million people who cancel cable by 2026. But the first source said that there are 95 million people who've canceled. But then the site that Forbes cited says that there are 75.6 million homes with traditional pay TV, which is around 22% of the US. But the other source says that 56% of Americans pay for traditional pay TV. Why are the stats like this? I'm so lost, sad, confused, and I'm gonna poo and pee myself. So this left me in shambles, wondering what the state of infomercials are to this day. If you try to
Alright, I turned the heater off because once it's like 75 in here, I'm like, okay, this is, I'm good.
You'll also get conflicting answers. TV infomercials still account for the majority of infomercial sales. It's far from dead. 1% of people buy something from an infomercial in the 90s and remains that to this day. They get most of their sales from in-store and as seen on TV sections. 76% of adult Americans consider infomercials helpful in making purchasing decisions.
I don't think they do.
26% of Americans have purchased an infomercial product. That's definitely not true. Which one is it? So let's put a pin in that, because I first just need you to have a base understanding of what an infomercial is and how it came to be, because I think it's interesting. I know you might also be thinking, I already know what an infomercial is. Shut up. Listen.
Turning from green to white to show it's ready to hold on tight.
How did infomercials start existing?
You want to keep warm when you're feeling chilled.
What the fuck is this shit? Okay, she does some good editing for this shit. This is
An
nice.
infomercial is a type of advertisement that is a bit longer
It's just
than
a piano.
traditional TV ad for the purpose of educating the viewer on the product, so they can show a more detailed look at what the product is, what sort of problem it solves, and how to use it. It's basically a product pitch that's a bit longer than the typical 30 seconds, so they can range from as short as 1 to 2 minutes to an hour or more. Any commercial with a call to action that wants you to purchase through the TV,
Order now. Call right now. Order your Betty Crocker Bacon Fill now.
Order now.
is called DRTV, or Direct Response Television. So some say that shorter infomercials are actually just DRTVs. The definition is a bit loose, but you know an infomercial when you see one. And the description I gave you makes sense. Part information, part commercial. Infomercial. The first ever infomercial was in 1949 for this Vitamix blender.
And I'm going to talk to you on the most vital subject that concerns you and your family, and that is health. With health, we have wealth. We're the richest person on earth. Without health, you're a miserable failure.
The fuck?
You lose your wealth, you lose your job, you lose your income, and you'll lose your life.
God damn, this is like in the first 30 seconds of this infomercial. Oh my god, he just shamed my entire family lineage to sell me a blender. What's crazy is that you can still buy this shit today. The infomercial was a hit and worked wonders. But in the 1950s and 60s, television advertisements were highly regulated. The FCC limited exactly how much advertising could be broadcast on television, right down to how many minutes of advertising could feature in a single hour. So infomercials took a back seat for several decades, and 30-second commercials were popularized during the hot hours of the day. Unless you live in Alaska. Then it's cold. This commercial format has remained relatively unchanged since then. Damn, I wish my ex-wife could remain unchanged for several decades, am I right, fellas? Plus, remember back then, people didn't have cable TV. You could only watch what was on local television.
Today a cat was
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Finally, Betty from Deborah Lane shook him down and caught him, we think. Well, we don't have footage of it. Oh,
That's always the same. Because I mean, I grew up with the whole like PBS stuff. It's like
you know me and Bill had
local channels, CW, WB.
Don't know where you're at while I'm at my manly coal mining job.
Oh, Bob! It's literally 1984.
Ronald Reagan as president and his administration did some stuff where the government promoted a free market approach where they would have less involvement in how corporations ran their businesses, and as a byproduct essentially lifted all the advertising regulations that had existed for all this time. And with cable TV sweeping America at this point, by the end of the 80s, the perfect storm was created for the infomercial to rise up once again, even for wacky shit like this.
Drank a lot of water. I really have to go. People are waiting to tee off. There's no restroom out here.
Has this happened to you? I've got the perfect gift. Introducing the Euro Club, the discreet sanitary solution for your urgent relief. It looks like an ordinary golf
What
club.
the fuck?
There's a reservoir built into the grip to relieve yourself. The Euro Club comes with a towel and appears that you're just checking out of the club.
Television changed so much from the 1950s to the 90s.
Please tell me that was like a parody or like some Adult Swim shit.
We went from
'Cause
this old
what the
box
fuck?
to this old box. This time without legs. And in color. But now with the whole country able to have cable, no, this is not a fable. Left my dinner on the table. Can I read? I am unable. I am also unstable.
Okay.
Lots of Americans were able to see the same programs
Okay.
around the same times. And after everyone from the TV studios go home to go sleep, no one is watching what's on. Before infomercials, it was test patterns and horror flicks. But this guy, Kevin Harrington, saw an opportunity. He found that there were up to 6 hours of dead time on TV overnight. So, since the viewership wasn't great and they weren't primetime hours, Kevin bought these unused slots at 30 to 60 minute chunks at a bargain and used that time to market products in long long form. Products that demanded more context, explanation, and demonstration.
It looks like an ordinary golf club, but contains a reservoir built into the grip to relieve yourself.
And thus, the infomercial as we know it today was born. Enter the infomercial. Part information, part commercial. Designed to mimic the look and feel of a news program or public service announcement, the infomercial presented a new product as though it were a revolutionary breakthrough.
I'm going to give you a demonstration of one of
Oh, dude, that reminds me of all the like the fake like like the knockoff QVC and HSN infomercial shit, because it's like they'll have like a whole set made and everything and act like there's like some other like smaller products around, like, oh, today on, you know, whatever house shopping network, home whatever bullshit, house super shopping network or something that's like off brand. They'll start having that shit just to mirror or just like have some legitimacy to it. It's like funny as shit.
the most wonderful machines that was ever invented.
Infomercials took the sensationalism and manic energy of a 30-second commercial, then turned everything up a few dozen notches.
I am sorry, but this is exciting. Oh, I want you to look at all of those wiggles. Sometimes
All of those wiggles.
softer wiggle, and sometimes I do a zigzag.
A zigzag wiggle.
From across the world,
A zigzag wiggle. I can't contain it.
Would cost
I can't contain. I'm so fucking erect from a fucking wiggle.
$25,000 to $250,000. Of course, depending on if you had to pay Adam Levine and Nicole Scherzinger to promote Proactive.
Proactive Plus has really evened out my entire complexion.
And if taking care of your skin can help you with feeling good about yourself.
And the cost of producing a 30-second TV commercial ad can cost a lot more. 6 to 8 weeks of infomercials on local TV can cost up to $150,000 to $250,000. On network primetime TV, that same 6 to 8 weeks can cost $15 to $30 million. So that's why and how infomercials started to exist, along with entire channels dedicated to infomercials and teleshopping popping up at around the same time, like QVC and Home Shopping Network, HSN. But did it actually work?
Let's take a pin out of that thought that I said to put a pin in earlier.
So we saw how so much of the numbers of cable TV and infomercials were muddied. So let's go off of facts and business logic. Every company from Procter & Gamble to Apple has advertised on infomercials. So when these sources say something absurd like 1 in 4 Americans have purchased an infomercial product, to me, this is a very misleading statement. If your parents bought OxyClean growing up, that's an infomercial product. Even if they had never seen the infomercial before and just picked it up at their local Walmart, it doesn't necessarily mean that 1 in 4 Americans picked up the phone during an infomercial during this end screen and called the number to interact with the infomercial. Call now! Do it! Do it. Actually use my link to buy cool shirts, thanks. From a business standpoint, do infomercials even work? I mean, from a purely anecdotal standpoint, I would bet that most of you watching have never known anyone in your lifetime who
Hurry while supplies last. Call right now, you'll qualify for the wholesale
to buy an infomercial product. Back in the heyday of traditional infomercials, there was no easy online shopping. If you saw an infomercial on a product that you actually considered buying, it was 100 times easier to just go to the store to pick it up. Then if you don't like it, you can just go back to the store to return it, rather than dealing with calling someone.
And this is when like stores, at least in America, usually had decent return policies. Like you don't need a receipt, you don't need anything else, you know, whatever. It was good.
Reading over your credit card info over the phone, and then if you don't like it, dealing with return shipping labels and paying for shipping and all that BS. Plus, with advertising to the 10 people who just woke up and have sleep paralysis, there's no shot it was well worth the money, even if those advertising slots were cheap. Allegedly, infomercials exist to test products and different advertising methods, so it's essentially like a second channel to every commentary YouTuber. So what was the actual end goal here? From a business perspective, perspective, I'm going to choose to take the opinions of experienced business people. The end goal isn't to sell all your merchandise on infomercials or home shopping networks. The goal is to get in stores. Journalist, data-driven business columnist, former Apple product marketer, and former TV executive John Nathanson says, for every impressionable graveyard viewer who buys a Showtime rotisserie grill at home, hundreds more buy at Home Depot because you remember that context of the product that you saw on TV. Lori Greiner from Shark Tank and host of her own show on QVC, a channel dedicated to infomercials essentially, also shares this knowledge. Whenever she talks about business, she also includes how you need to get that product into stores.
I will get you into infomercial right away, and I'm pretty confident that we could get this into all retail stores across the country within literally weeks.
It's evident from the success of the Scrub Daddy. The most successful product on Shark Tank ever is a QVC classic. Lori explains how she can get him onto QVC again and every store in America. It just makes sense that you would supplement your retail store product with television advertising and vice versa. Even Wikipedia says on their infomercial page that despite infomercials always urging you to buy now, not sold in stores, please, I need to feed my family, please buy it, please, many viewers
Every political ad in the last like fucking 8 years at this point. Please, please, please donate, please donate, please donate, please, please. I am begging you once, just donate 3 times your donation, please, please, please.
respond with a delayed response by purchases made at retail outlets. These retail purchases are often the largest response. And honestly, despite what teachers have told me over the years, Wikipedia has never not been a reliable source for my papers. There. I said it. Wow, she's so brave.
Oh, shit.
Even Kevin Harrington, the guy that invented the modern day infomercials, dropped out of the industry like over 10 years ago because he saw the decline in popularity of cable TV and infomercials.
I started seeing the handwriting on the wall. TV viewership has dropped by over 50% in the last 10 years.
Right.
And
which is a clip that I found on Jordan Belford's podcast. What
Yeah.
side of the internet did I go to?
The alpha bro.
the infomercials, as 30-minute shows, they're still out there, but they don't go well onto the internet. So really, it's more the short form side of the business, 1 minute, 2 minute spots. Those are still
So
doing
like
well.
an ad already?
At the end of the day, it's become a very expensive business model.
But that's not to say it's a bad business model or ever was a bad business model, because at some point, infomercials worked, or it wouldn't have been a staple on TV since the 80s through the 2010s, and the industry wouldn't be worth more than $200 billion.
Can I just say something? We are in the middle of the 2020s right now. It's 2025. 2010s was over a decade ago, for the most part. Like, what the fuck?
Dollars today. That's over 1% of the United States GDP. That's more than Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and some other rich guys are worth. QVC still made $11 billion in 2021 and are clearly still doing well. So we've established that infomercials pair well with retail. And you might remember seeing shorter 30-second abridged versions of those infomercials on daytime TV. They've ventured into the light because they also pair well with other forms of advertising. God, it's hot in here. We all remember multiple infomercials that are ingrained into our heads, like Zoo Books.
And the Tiger poster.
And when you see that George Foreman grill at the store, you remember and you buy. But what made this formula so hypnotizing?
Okay, that's true. No, because every time I am looking at the George Foreman grill, the electric ones, I remember, like, you know, Drake and Josh. I remember the infomercials at like 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, when I'm just up. I'm like, oh shit, that's a thing I could have. I saw that on TV, like when I was a kid. I could get it now that I'm an adult with money.
1. Create awareness.
Have you got a drawer full of knives that are about as dull as a doorstop?
Hi, Anthony Sullivan here for the Edge of Glory.
2. Create need.
This way, you can crack them that way. And we've all done this. But no matter how you crack them, you always end up picking out eggshells.
Not really.
Not anymore.
3. Create urgency.
But if you call now,
within the next 20 minutes because we can't do this all day.
You'll get the ShamWow mop, a $20 value, free.
4. Evaluate choices.
Here's something you can't do with glue.
So don't spend a bundle on new knives when you can get the Edge of Glory.
You're going to spend $20 every month on paper towels anyway. You're throwing your money away. The mini ShamWows are...
5. Resolve final risk.
Guaranteed to delight you or your money back.
Wait, this is just business marketing 101. As someone who took I didn't take a class, I didn't get to get a test over it for college credit because I was like, I'm gonna read the book and I'm just gonna get it done.
Now we'll also include this special dome pan.
This formula obviously works. And how do I know that? Because it's remained unchanged for over 30 years. Where are infomercials today? Once in a while, you'll see a lone Reddit user asking the community, what happened to infomercials? Are they still on TV? Do they even still work? Do I have anything better to be asking? As seen on home shopping networks like XQC, QVC, and HSN, yes, this shit still works. And yes, they are still on TV. However, it might not be as much of the Wild West anymore, with all these wacky products at wee hours of the night, unless of course we see another one of these.
Euro Club comes with a towel and appears that you are just checking out your club.
There are still infomercials today, just not in the same format you'd expect.
Okay, I think I just got Mill. I'll move it up later.
Half asleep from your sleep paralysis demon. Now, aside from
I'm also waiting for my fucking phone that I've been waiting for a month.
Infomercials, I argue, get the biggest pull from YouTube. This is where the people are.
That's probably true.
The As Seen on TV YouTube channel gets some serious views from people searching up old infomercials that they remember fondly. Imagine feeling that way over ads that are.
Ooh, that's like a good stream idea.
Nostalgia is a powerful
Just going over
tool,
90s commercials and stuff, 80s infomercials.
The way we hear about them is still from YouTube, in my opinion. At least anyone under the age of 65. Tell me if you've heard of the tack light or tack glasses from anything other than YouTube.
Nothing to see, right? But look again as we hold up our tack glasses. A colorful American Eagles reveal.
I do not know any of this shit.
These are the most patriotic sunglasses I've ever seen. You really just have to have the prerequisite of owning a Ford F-150 in order to purchase these sunglasses.
Ordinary sunglasses just make things darker, which could be deadly in a tactical situation. But tack glasses improve optical clarity.
What are you, wearing these sunglasses in an active war zone? I guess that's what you could call driving in rush hour on I-95. I love being an adult. But yeah, maybe it's just me. I don't watch cable TV anymore, and neither does most of my generation. Sure, infomercials might still be on cable TV at 3 a.m. That should be a new 3 a.m. challenge. But they indubitably don't have the same pull and viewership that they used to, no matter what this deranged article tries to tell me. Despite the formula staying the same and having worked throughout the years, I think the infomercial as we knew it from the 80s to 2000s are dying out as a byproduct of cable TV dying out. But guess what? I have great news for you. But wait, there's more. The infomercial format has not been dying out because it just moved. The exact same thing with the same 5 stages of infomercial grief lives on Instagram.
No, Instagram.
Bada boom, the millennials that come up with the
Other she can say TikTok lives. Dude, it's like every fucking TikTok now. It's just like a live with like advertising.
marketing strategies for startups and big businesses.
Why do you need this charger? That's it when you get this charger for, you know, some price they say, but it's actually a price because they're like, hey, this is $20. Then you go to the page, you're like, oh no, it's 60. Like, oh, you missed the deal. I'm like, you posted this 3 hours ago. Stop lying to me. Stop fucking lying to me.
Got a whole lot of inspiration from infomercials that they used to enjoy. If you've ever scrolled on Instagram and gotten a video ad, chances are the difference between that and an infomercial is just that it lives on your phone in vertical format now.
Oh,
These
shit.
ads will run over 3 minutes of your time if you keep watching. Mindless scrolling on Instagram is the equivalent of waking up half asleep watching an ad for clay that plugs leaks anyway.
Oh, that's cool.
Unless you're on the toilet, of course. Let's go through some of them.
Warning, poo odor is aggressive, just like this ad.
You poop, and it stinks.
What the fuck is this shit?
Cheap prices and chemicals don't work. Cool. 12 cents to poison my insides. Big mistake.
What the fuck?
Poopery is the superior solution that uses natural ingredients to trap odor under the surface.
So we saw all 5 stages of grief there. We had our you poop and it stinks. Here's our product that will fix
Oh,
that.
shit.
It's better than your other products that try to fix it, because then it usually just smells like lavender and poop combined, that's never fun. Anyway, they even admit to going for an infomercial style advertisement,
came to us to create a campaign of comedic infomercials for their full line of products.
which I found fascinating. The style not dying out, my friends. There's a reason that it still works, even though cable TV is in the pooper. Maybe they should buy some poop. They're not sponsoring me. They're not getting a free shout out.
Hey, I'm Adrian Solgarden. Today we're going to talk about the Endeavor backpack. It's the all-in-one backpack with a built-in closet. So let's take a look at what it looks like for a little unboxing.
So this one is literally an infomercial. I won't show you the whole thing, but gosh darn, it's literally an infomercial in 4x5 Instagram format.
So this is about 6 days worth of clothes. There's 6 t-shirts, 7 socks, and 7 pairs of underwear in there, as well as a couple of sweaters.
No pants?
Pop that inside the bag once it's expanded, and there's still space in the top for whatever you might have.
Pants! He goes through everything from how it works, what type of material it's made out of, why it's better than a traditional backpack, use cases, and call to action right at the end. Honestly, it's a good ad. It's always fun. I don't know if any of you have had the curiosity I have when you go on Instagram and click on ads, but
Okay, well, so fun.
posts, and usually the funny ones that really lean into like the infomercial style ad get a lot of people like it.
I'm about to show you an essential item that you need and probably don't have. It's Prepared Heroes Emergency Fire Blanket. This device
What the fuck? Oh, yeah.
tragedy when fire happens. And unlike
Okay.
heavy, dry chem, ABC type extinguishers, they won't destroy your kitchen with a powdery mess after you use them.
So same type of idea, there's a problem, this product is gonna solve it. You could say that this is like pretty general, just like a normal business pitch or any TV commercial.
I love the like impliedness of people like, oh, I'm dressed as a fireman. That's because that's, you know, good. Or I'm dressed up as like a doctor because that gives more what is it? When it's something authority, appealing to authority. There we go.
Any pitch
I took philosophy
like that, but the way it's presented
and
is
logic.
so infomercially to me. I guess I can't really prove or put my finger on why this differs from like a traditional TV ad
debate.
that states a problem, here's how we're gonna solve it. It's just kind of like the infomercial style, where someone's talking to you, this is why you need this product, this is why it's awesome, let me show you how it works, type of thing. Like that style is just very infomercially, and it lives very, very well on Instagram. And I never thought I would say this, but pay attention the next time you go on Instagram and you see some ads. And I didn't have to search that hard for these. Like I wasn't really digging. It's just evident that this style of commercial is not going away, and it's actually thriving on Instagram specifically. I don't really use a lot of other social media, to be honest. I mean, these are just short of being on QVC, and it's either infomercial style or someone showing you the product in true infomercial network style. That's just the landscape of how advertising in the digital world works these days, with a few changes and modifications and well-appreciated humor now.
You poop, and it stinks.
This is how modern infomercials are. You could also just call these other forms of DRTV or direct response television, which just means an ad that has an interactive call to action at the end, like call now.
Call right now and I'll triple the offer.
Which has evolved these days into click the link below, swipe up, link into the description, click on this link on the screen. Actually don't, it'll pause the video, but you get the idea.
Click now to get your 2 free pairs of super stretchy Cheek Boss undies.
It's become all more common than just a telephone number on the screen 20 years ago. Now DRTV is everywhere. At its core, these are just modern day infomercials. A long form style advertisement meant to create context, explain and show the product in more depth than a 30-second ad or static post can do less effectively. These paid social ads now pair well with their Instagram feeds. Now there's not as much of a push for you to buy the product in store, because nowadays you can have a super successful online only business, not like back then. And getting your product in retail is still a huge goal for startups with new and improved underwear, or like Glamnetic just getting their nails into Target, but it's not as ride or die as it used to be in the 2000s, in my opinion. Kids Bop didn't sell on the TV. It sold in stores when an out-of-touch parent walked by this godforsaken devil music in the electronics aisle. Now instead of targeting local cable stations in areas you'd like to maybe reach your demographic, it's way more cost effective to hyper target your demographic on Instagram if you can figure out how Meta Business Suite works. God bless. Infomercials used to be the cost effective way for startups to advertise and Fortune 500 businesses to test and tweak advertising models. Now you can advertise very, very effectively with just a few $1,000s and barely any production cost, which is just another reason people are opting to advertise on social instead. Another place infomercials have evolved to are in YouTube ads. That's right, I'm calling myself out. YouTubers typically take sponsorships that are 60 to 120 seconds long. Those are short infomercials. We establish a problem, tell you why you need a VPN, and then have a call to action at the end urging you to sign up now using our link that is readily available and clickable right now in the description or pinned comment. And most of the times, brands will ask us to put the link on the screen too, just like an infomercial. So the rise and fall of infomercials. Basically, the conclusion is shit be changing. I could have just said that and ended the video. Anyway, what are some of your most fondly remembered infomercials? I am actually very curious to know which ones were yours.
Dude, I remember the that ball that floats or whatever, or I thought it floats. Apparently it doesn't float. That's when I was like, oh, the fuchsia, whatever it's called. That thing.
Favorites? Which ones live in your brain rent free? Mine has to be the
that and a lot of the make money scams. Because it would be like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I'm like, I'm waiting till like Pokemon comes on at 6 in the morning or whatever.
And Phil. Tune in next week.
This video sponsored by my patrons. You get a special Discord role, and you get your name at the end of my videos, yeah.
All right, so if you've been online in the past,
Why did that music sound like that Christmas song? I can't think of the name. I think it's gonna be a wonderful Christmas time.
week, you've probably had some headline cross your path, or in
Right? Is it just me?
some way been recommended to watch the video about the greatest scam in the history of the creator economy, or whatever else it's being called. And it's actually kind of an incredible story. It's around one of the biggest YouTube sponsors ever. It involves almost every high-profile creator that I can think of, including myself, and it kind of came out of nowhere, surfaced by a creator called Megalag, and yeah, that is me in the thumbnail. So you're probably wondering how we got here. So let's just break this down. It's all around this company / product called Honey. And if you somehow haven't heard of Honey up until this point, here's what it claims to be. And I'm specifically using that phrasing. It's what it claims to be. Honey is a free browser extension that claims to find you the best coupon codes
as we know already
when you're buying.
As we know already that they're getting sued apparently by people, by YouTubers
buying things online.
So
you're checking out some online purchase, and there's that box to input coupon codes. So you
I know a little bit about this.
Amazon or Best Buy, whatever it is. And if you have Honey installed, you hit apply Honey at checkout, and it goes through its huge database of all the coupon codes it knows about and applies the best ones there to save you the most money.
And this is what I thought it does. Yeah.
Seems great. It's one of the most popular browser extensions of all time. It has 17 million users in the Chrome extension store as of right now. It's insanely popular.
I wonder how much
for years
that in
also
the
had a massive budget to pay creators as well to run ads on YouTube. So they have also become one of the biggest, one of the most proliferating, prominent. They've been one of the biggest YouTube sponsors of all time. And one thing about being a YouTube,
keep trying your different word immediately.
I can attest to this, is sponsors in general are very important to the business, but can also be very difficult to work with all the time. And so if there is a sponsor that comes around and starts doing ads that is very easy to work with and just gets it, like just lets the YouTuber do their thing, very lenient, word about that gets around. And so I'm about to talk about all the horrible things Honey did in a second, but if you want to give them credit for anything, it's that they were very YouTube forward. They were one of the most YouTube forward marketing companies ever. In the Megalag video, he goes over it. Apparently, there were hundreds of creators across billions of views across all the videos they advertised in, including 3 of my own. More on that later. But unfortunately, there are 2 major, extremely shady things that Honey has been doing this entire time. One of them kind of behind the scenes, and the other just in plain sight. So the first thing had to do with affiliate codes. So now again, if you spent a lot of time online, you've probably heard about these a lot, but if you haven't, the way this generally works is if I'm a creator and I make a video about a product and I have an affiliate link to that product and you click it and then go through the checkout and buy the product, I will get a small kickback for referring you to that sale. Almost like a car salesman will get a referral or a real estate agent gets a referral. Same idea, and you can even sometimes see the little affiliate code up in a URL bar when you're clicking on them and checking out. It's very common. This is how they're supposed to work. Now, there's lots of other complicated dynamics and variables even within that system, but the bottom line here is lots of online retailers have affiliate programs and encourage people to use them. But Honey, the thing about Honey is they were always the last step before checkout for basically every online purchase that the people who've installed it are making.
Okay.
So if you went to click on that link in a video and even click a creator's referral code, no matter what, if you click apply Honey at checkout, they would remove the creator's affiliate code and replace it with their own every single time. So they collect the affiliate revenue.
You know, fun thing is, I just got a notification. Well, I'm stuffed up right now. I just got a notification like yesterday, I think, that I still have money in my affiliate program from Amazon, which I have not used in years, right? And I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I wonder how much it is. It's 22 cents. So yeah.
Revenue for the sale on.
Which I'm surprised because I mean, someone had to click my link in the last like 3 years. I think I only came back streaming like in the last year or so.
Every time, no matter who actually referred you to go buy that thing. Already incredibly slimy behavior, very behind the scenes shady stuff, and that by itself would be enough, I think, for basically any creator to hear about that and stop working.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Just that one thing would be enough. But like I said, there's 2 things. So then number 2, okay, so think about this. If you are an online retailer, you actually don't really like Honey. Right? Like this is a web browser extension that a bunch of people have that every time they buy something from your site, it like goes through and makes sure that they apply coupon codes, which takes away from your bottom line and makes sure you make less money. So it's not their favorite thing in the world, just by default. So Honey, with all of this leverage, they would go around trying to convince stores and online retailers to partner with them. And one of the key benefits of partnering with Honey was that you get to choose which coupon codes show up in Honey's database for all of its users. So that means if there's a 20%...
That's why sometimes you'll see like, you see like the loading animation, right? Like Honey 20, Honey 2024, whatever it's called. And it would be like, what? So like they're trying a bunch of coupons that just don't work. And you know they don't work. Or they apply, because you'll see this in some of the pages, that they'll the way, because they'll keep applying, keep refreshing the page over and over again. So it's like they will apply something, but it's a code that just doesn't work already, or like they know that it's already been, maxed users that used it.
20% coupon.
And like I knew that. That's why I kind of like in the last 2 years, I think I stopped using Honey.
Code and a 3% coupon code. You're definitely going to make sure only the 3% coupon code shows up for Honey users.
Now I kind of wish there was a more open source way, or like just a competitor to Honey that did work how they said it would work. Probably won't get a bunch of advertising, but that just seems better
by default. So this specific doublespeak, I think, is worthy of using the word scam, because we use that word kind of loosely these days, but this sort of double speak of out of one side of your mouth, you're telling customers you should use Honey because it can make sure you get the best deals and coupon codes whenever you check out. And on the other side of your mouth, you're telling retailers you should partner with Honey because you can prevent customers from getting the best deals and coupon codes when they use Honey. They can't both be true. It's basically Honey going up to these stores and being like, hey, just give us 3%, give us 5% commission on your sales, and we'll make this coupon code problem go away. That double messaging is the core of why Honey is being called a scam. It's because you have to be lying to one of those sides to make any of this work. And I'll give you a hint. They're lying to users. So they are stealing from creators and journalistic outlets, to anyone that uses affiliate codes, by poaching their affiliate revenue. And they are clearly not giving the best coupon codes and discounts to users because of the way they operate. I think, obviously, if I had known any of this, I never would have worked with Honey, and neither would the creators who did, but clearly nobody knew about this going on because according to that Megalag video, again, like I said, they've sponsored 5,000 plus different videos, which ended up totaling nearly 8 billion views. It's crazy in hindsight how much they've pulled this off, just being super easy to work with and then doing all this behind our backs. I think Austin Evans said it best in his video. They're paying creators up front for the ad and then stealing from their back pockets. So what do we do about it? What is the actual answer here? I think obviously number one is uninstall Honey if you have it installed.
Okay.
If you didn't ever install Honey, good for you. Keep it that way. And then you can actively go around and tell people, like warn people not to install Honey because it actively takes away from the blogs and creators that you could be supporting. And then for me personally, so I had 3 videos sponsored by Honey. These were all 4+ years ago. They were all in 2020 around the same time. My Poco M3 review, my Moto Edge Plus review, and my Galaxy S20 Fan Edition review.
That's what I've had for like years, dude.
Well, back in the brief period where I was working with Standard, and I'd actually almost signed up to do 2 more in 2021, but then I stopped working with Standard. Long story. But what I've done is I've gone back and with YouTube's editor, you might know this, you can trim out sections of videos. I have removed the Honey ads from those videos in the name of not accidentally promoting Honey any more than I possibly could. Now, of course, I know not everyone can do this. Like there are creators with various amounts of involvement with Honey. I think LTT was one of the examples from the Megalag video. They had like dozens of videos sponsored by Honey. So
I can see that.
I mean, it would take longer. I guess they could do it, but cutting all those ads out is challenging depending on how the ad was.
Yeah, it's like depending on how the ad is. If it's like, I guess it's like, hey, this video's been sponsored by blah blah blah. You're like, okay, that's fine. But if it's like they're mentioning Honey every fucking 3 minutes or so, then it gets a little repetitive.
Put in the video, and they also unfortunately paid for a custom video that they could use on their own YouTube channel to run as an ad. So I can't remove that one, unfortunately. So that sucks. But the lesson learned here definitely is for myself and basically every other creator who got with working with Honey is to be even more skeptical about the products and companies that we actually put in front of our audience, especially if they're going to be sponsors. Like, I think we can appreciate that it's not super hard to vet these things. We can dig in and use the products, for example, that we're going to share. And even with Honey, like I installed it, I did a few things, bought a few things, it worked, so it seemed fine to me. It's a no-brainer. Other creators love working with them. But clearly, nobody had seen the things that they were doing. Very few people, anyway, had been aware of all the shady stuff that they were doing, or we never would have worked with them. Like, there was a few murmurings in some threads from a few years ago, and there was a hilarious clip of Markiplier from like 4 years ago being very suspicious of them, but still nothing ever really came of it until this Megalag video surfaced everything. So shout out to him for actually going in and showing the affiliate code poaching and for doing the research for all of this. He says he has more videos coming up on this too. I think the crazy thing to me is just
I wonder what else you could talk about it. Yeah, because they're already getting sued. If they're already getting sued, I would just like release everything all, like not at once, but weekly.
Like this, Honey was owned by PayPal, and this wasn't like some shady thing they were doing on the side to win some extra revenue that PayPal didn't know about. No, this is their revenue. Like this was This is the thing that they do to make money. This is their business model. So uninstall Honey. Stop using Honey if you already have it. Don't install it if you weren't going to. And yeah, time to get super selective about sponsors on YouTube, especially in 2025. For me, that basically just looks like being extra committed to the long-term channel partners that I have, like Dbrand and the collaborations with Ridge and things like that. Those I know are great. But yeah, just a little extra food for thought. And if you don't know, now you know. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Mr. Beast spent over $100 million.
Oh, what is this? The dark truth about Beast Games?
Of his own money to make his new TV show Beast Games, and it might possibly be the worst thing he's ever created.
All right, Jim, good luck, dude.
Thank you.
The fuck is this shit?
On $5 million of real money.
Like, this guy spent pretty much the entire budget of a Marvel Avengers movie to essentially make the cheap dollar store version of Squid Game. He also uses the identical content slop farm that we've seen on his YouTube channel, so of course the internet is just absolutely eating him alive. Like, immediately following the release of the initial episodes, major media outlets like The Guardian, The Rolling Stone, and IGN completely laid into Mr. Beast and criticized his pathetic game show.
Like, dude, think about this. You have like huge YouTube channel. I mean, his YouTube channel probably not going to suffer that much. But the thing is, if this does not succeed, there's a good chance that Amazon is not going to work with a lot of YouTubers anymore because of how fucking massive this failed.
It was given a scathing 2 out of 10 rating by IGN, and The Guardian described it as a show that exists solely to show us the worst of the human condition. But you may be wondering, what exactly is it that makes the show so bad? Well, let's start off by addressing the elephant in the room. Beast Games is a complete rip-off of Squid Game. Both shows have a tremendously large quantity of people trying to outcompete each other and challenges that become more and more ridiculous for an extraordinarily big cash award, which
these are real people,
stage just to remind people what's at stake. I mean, even the aesthetic of the show is copied. It's almost like Jimmy thought we wouldn't notice the blatant rip-off if he just made the sweatsuits the contestants wear a slightly different tint of blue with bigger numbers on their chests. But hey, I mean, people wouldn't even be so mad if he just used the same social commentary and underlying meaning that made Squid Game so good. But instead of doing that, Beast Games just provides a massive brain rot spectacle.
There's a lot of clowns that want to donate the money. I'm buying jet skis and gold chains.
What makes Beast Games even creepier is how it takes Mr. Beast's already sadistic content formula and just makes it way worse. But this shouldn't come as a surprise to those of you familiar with the lore behind Mr. Beast's rise to fame. Like, before he had any money or subscribers, this guy would literally sit in front of his camera and torment his mind for hours on end. Like, there's literally a video of him saying Logan Paul 100,000 times in a row, and there's another where he actually counts to 200,000. But this was mostly harmless, and nobody really seemed to mind because he was doing it to himself. But nowadays, Mr. Beast has turned into a monster. Like, sometime during the last 6 years, Mr. Beast realized that the real infinite money glitch happens when you dangle absurd amounts of cash in front of really needy people. Like, I genuinely think that this guy gets off on creating increasingly horrific challenges that...
Like, dude, to be like, let's be honest. If someone held like $5 million in front of you, you would probably do whatever it takes, especially in a competitive environment.
Pushes people past their breaking points.
We're already, like, in this society we build is already a competitive environment, but even that in a game show setting seems more intense, especially when and the camera on you, like, most of the time. Oof.
Just imagine him foaming at the mouth when the first season of Squid Games dropped. Like, he must have just seen the record-breaking numbers and completely changed his brand to revolve around the premise of that show. And as I said before, this formula is just completely on steroids when it comes to Beast Games. Like, the whole show just revolves around the contestants suffering without any deeper underlying meaning or social commentary, which, might I add, is what made Squid Games so good in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, there are constantly moments from the first episode that really put an emphasis on people losing their minds, breaking down in tears, and generally humiliating themselves for a very small chance to win $5 million. And honestly, it just kind of gets sad and weird. And a really good example of that is in the very first challenge of the show, where participants stood on platforms and had to press a button to eliminate themselves so that their row could move forward.
In order for your team to move on, someone
must sacrifice themselves, meaning that they will have to, at their own will, walk away from $5 million.
I feel like
Why would you do
I
that?
have to sacrifice myself. I just want people to know I really do care about them.
So what's the point of the fucking game then? If you can't move, then what's the point of the game? You can't win then. Am I missing something? You can't win. Like that would yeah, okay, yeah.
A lot of the contestants that were eliminated felt that the challenge was deeply unfair because of an important misunderstanding regarding the rules. Like apparently a lot of the people that got eliminated refused to leave the set once they were dropped and demanded explanations from Mr. Beast and his team. So yeah, I mean, this focus on human suffering as a spectacle may have seemed like a good idea at the time for Jimmy, but in reality it's just kind of uncomfortable to watch. Like some of these people are fully grown adults who probably have children at home, completely on their knees just crying and begging for the chance to win $5 million. I mean, Jimmy just loves putting people in this weird position. It's also a worrying sign of where his content is going. Like Mr. Beast loves to paint himself as this guy who frequently concentrates on charitable giving along with life-changing acts, but Beast Games takes a completely opposite approach. Instead of helping many people who need assistance, it takes advantage of the desperation of a lot of them, making fun of their hard times and struggles to get a lot of views. But on top of the disaster that was Beast Games itself, what made it even worse is that before it even released, 5 contestants from the show actually filed a lawsuit against Mr. Beast and Amazon, alleging chronic mistreatment and failure to pay minimum wages.
Mr. Beast is being sued by contestants on his new reality competition.
5 of those contestants claiming the show didn't provide fair wages or even bare minimum legal working conditions.
So being that this show already had a lawsuit before it even dropped its first episode, it really needed to hit it out of the park in order for people to forget about the lawsuit and all the damage that was already done. But as you can see now, it's been an absolute dumpster.
The funny thing is, I don't hear any of my actual friends talk about the show. They don't even know what to think. So, I think they all assumed it was a video on YouTube, or like another YouTube video. And I'm just like, wow. So part of me is like, well, I really want to know what the viewer count is for this type of show. I don't think it's probably going to be anything enough to cover, to reclaim that money. Because if it's $5 million for the winner, plus however millions it took to, get everybody there, hire people, security, all, pay wages and stuff. That's insane.
And I mean, the production is good. Jimmy spent 9 figures on the entire thing, but it just feels empty. Which is very on point for a guy whose smile doesn't even reach his eyes. On top of the lawsuit, a bunch of contestants from the show also shared really appalling details about the conditions on set, including overflowing portable toilets, unsanitary conditions, along with contestants being unable to access necessary medications such as insulin. One guy described that he saw a person completely enveloped in a sleeping bag covered with human feces and urine. Truly appalling shit. And you guessed it, the problems didn't end there. The contestants also had to undergo many grueling physical challenges. So this resulted in 6 hospitalizations during only one of the shoots alone. But when the production moved to Toronto, things got a bit better for the contestants, but the crew's complaints actually increased sharply. Many workers described an unsafe and disorganized environment. Electrical equipment submerged in water was ordered to be continued to be worked with by crew members during a record-breaking rainstorm. And on a separate occasion, during an extraordinarily intense 90-degree heat wave, the air conditioning, along with the fans, was switched off to preserve the atmosphere of filming. Many days lasted longer than 12 hours, along with some workers logging more than 80 hours a week.
Oh, fuck that.
A member was seriously injured, requiring hospitalization, in addition to many other injuries sustained.
The fuck is this the mines? What the fuck is this? It's like some oil rig? Fucking injuries and shit? People getting heat stroke or something? What the hell?
Filming. This included an important incident in which a large 6-foot section of a set collapsed onto the crew member and sent him to the ER. Like the absence of planning for basic safety shows just how hurried and disorganized the production was. Although a very large budget was available, cost-cutting measures were obviously implemented in the most important areas, and apparently these problems were not simply isolated incidents, but instead a reoccurring theme throughout the entire production process. So yeah guys, Beast Games sucked. But of course, being that Jimmy spent over 9 figures on this entire thing, he's coping with the fact that it actually blows. Like he responded to the IGN 2 out of 10 rating by saying, "It's sad one person who doesn't like me can just label something 1,000 people poured their lives into."
Yeah, that's, I mean, if they don't like you, but they don't like your show. Yeah, I don't get this sentiment, because yeah, have you seen Craven? No, right? No one's seen Craven. And it's usually like 1 or 2 people that came out rating this shit like, 1 out of 10 or whatever. Yeah, and there's probably like a few hundred people that fucking worked on that movie. Like, what? This is such a weird fucking take. I think it's weird because he takes everything so personal.
2 out of 10, when it's clearly not. The show as future episodes drop is phenomenal, especially once we get the number of contestants down and you get to know them. Like, trust me, Jimmy, we're not really keen on getting to know these guys. And I mean, that's kind of the consequence of giving them prison numbers and just making them all look like objects instead of real people. But I guess we'll just have to see as more episodes drop. There's only been 3 so far, so maybe there's a slim, very slim chance of it being actually decent. But yeah, guys, that's it for the video, and I really appreciate you.
Well, that's the thing with a game show, right? If they don't get you in the first like 1 or 2 episodes, you're kind of fucked. Like, look at Wipeout, right? That's kind of how it goes. You're hooked in on like the first episode. You can start from wherever. That's kind of how a game show is supposed to be.
Watching the whole thing if you made it this far. Make sure to like, subscribe.
Like, yeah, there's lore, but you're supposed to, like, get into the show at any point.
I'd love to hear from you guys some feedback on what genre and video topics you guys would really like to see me do. Like, I started with just talking about comedians, and then I made a transition to the Rogan sphere, Conor McGregor and MMA, and now I've recently started talking about Logan Paul, Mr. Beast, and KSI. Let me know which one of those is your favorites in the comments down below, and I'd also love to hear if you guys would like me to start making more brain rot videos like Jack Doherty fall off needs to be studied, or like Aiden Ross has reached a new low, etc. Also, I really want to thank you guys for subscribing, watching, liking, commenting, and all that, because at the start of 2024, I wouldn't have even guessed that I'd become an actual YouTuber. But now here I am 6 months later with one of my YouTube thumbnails in a Logan Paul video thumbnail. Like, it's pretty surreal that we're doing it this fast, and there's still a lot more to go. I'd love to make 100 videos and eventually reach 100,000 subscribers, but yeah.
And I don't know if I want to say I added different video going over it. Ooh, 38, 2 out of 10. Ooh.
What you are witnessing is real. A record-breaking number of 1,000 players is currently stampeding. Only one of these 1,000 people you are seeing will have what it takes to beat everyone around them and take home this generational wealth of $5 million. Welcome to Beast Games.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Beast
That's some insane shit.
Absolutely desperate, doing whatever he can to get more eyes, more views, more money from his Beast Games show. Now, if you haven't already seen it, about 2-3 episodes are out now, and overall it's been getting pretty negative reviews. IGN gave it a 2, a painful rating. Mr. Beast's Prime Video show Beast Games is a bust, a 2. User reviews for the show over on IMDb are pretty much giving it an average of like a 5, a 5. There's occasionally
That's not
9,
good.
10, a 1. Right, so overall, the show is probably mediocre at best, right? Metacritic, again, critics giving the show a 38, while the users are giving it an 8.5.
And here's the thing. These are people that would be his fan base, I think, right? Like, these are people that would be his, like YouTubers, like people that watch YouTube, that are going to watch this probably from Mr. Beast. They're not going to be people that watch it just because it's on Amazon. I mean.
again, kind of just right down the middle. And now what Mr. Beast is doing is he's desperately going into comments of other popular medias like Squid Games 2, for example, as Netflix is celebrating the launch of the new season. Player 456 is back. Squid Game Season 2 is now playing, and lo and behold, right under that, Mr. Beast is saying, so is Beast Games Episode 3, guys. Please go watch it. It's just so desperate and quite funny to see this, because again, this guy is like a billionaire, and he's underneath Netflix's comments trying to promote his show, which is like an Amazon show. And again, here, this post, it looks like he's just blatantly making up random things. Greg Leeson says, I've never watched a second of Mr. Beast. I'm a 48-year-old man, but my kids have watched. My son just had me watch his show on Prime. That was an intense show at the end, tuning in tomorrow. And Beast says, crazy how much people now only know me from Beast Games and not my YouTube channel, which is just nonsense. If your kid knows Mr. Beast, he probably knows Mr. Beast from YouTube. And again, on Christmas, Netflix says 12 hours until Squid Game Season 2, to which Beast replies, can't wait. Beast Games Episode 3 also drops. Once again, Netflix says Squid Game returns in 24 hours with a 20-second trailer, and here he is, fighting the urge to say Beast Games Episode 3 also drops in 24 hours. And if you aren't noticing a pattern, it's just overall very cringe what he's doing. Same here. Netflix, 2 days until Squid Game 2, and Beast Games Episode 3. Now, I think this whole thing is so funny because December 2024 has been a pretty eventful year for shows. I'm not much of like a show watcher, but I do know there are some pretty fire ones that have released, like The Skeleton Crew, which is like a new Star Wars show, Disney's What If, the Dexter spin-off release, there's a show Jackal, La Palma, Black Doves, the new Arcane season, Creature Commandos. There's all these amazing shows, and Beast Games, Mr. Beast, continues to comment on the Squid Game ones, which is the show that people have been comparing this one to because of just how inhumane the concept seems to take like homeless people, take people who are in desperate need of money, and basically having them fight each other for money. We just saw that case with Rosanna, who had on a woman who got a brain injury. She got a major concussion.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's insane.
And to see him continue to promote his slop on Squid Game trailers is some just hilarious sense of irony.
I grew up homeless, and now I want to help other homeless kids. And that $5 million would mean everything to help me get there.
If I win $5 million, I could use that to make passive income for the rest of my life.
It would provide me the opportunity to retire my dad.
The difference that money can make and how it can support a community.
Completely getting my whole family out of the poverty pipeline.
There's a lot of clowns that want to donate the money. I'm buying jet skis and gold chains.
I will die for this. I will die for $5 million.
And now here we have this content creator by the name of Ambish saying just watch episode 2 of Beast Games, and IGN either got paid to give Mr. Beast a 2 out of 10 or just did it for shock value. Show is entertaining AF. Yeah, sad. One person who doesn't like me can just label something 1,000 people pour their lives into a 2 out of 10 when it's clearly
Dude,
not.
this is such a weird fucking tweet still.
Drop is phenomenal, especially once we get the number of contestants down and you get to know them. Dude, you literally made the show. This is just embarrassing. Like, it's kind of like when a game gets a really bad review.
Is this go back to the whole Craven thing? It's like everyone's like the director and the star of like Craven are like, you just need like, even the exec for Sony are like, hey, you just need to give Craven a chance. You just need to give Craven a chance. It's Craven time. You gotta give Craven a fucking chance. And you got Jimmy, fucking good. Yeah, Beast Games is good. Beast Games, please, somebody watch Beast Games. I'm begging you, watch Beast Games. Good. We vote up, please. I'm begging. These are fucking pointless, fucking pathetic people.
You and the creators suddenly are like, well, you guys are just like, you guys just don't like good games or something. It's just cringe, dude. Like, if people don't like their show, they're allowed to say that, and they're allowed to leave reviews saying why they don't like the show. It's not that serious. Right, now don't get me wrong, right? I'm not bootlicking IGN over here. I think that personally their reviews kind of suck, right? Which is why I made sure to include like 5 other sources of reviews as well as user reviews, because overall Beast Games just isn't doing so well. Like, I know IGN is kind of stupid, right? They've given Call of Duty games 9s and 9.6s and blah blah blah, and they've given games like Doom 7s, right, or Death Stranding a 6. So by no means is IGN like the greatest source for reviews. But again, Mr. Beast is just kind of coping here. He's acting as if like a show that has millions of dollars on the lines and a huge production cast and staff can never be given a negative review, and like nobody's allowed to give their thoughts and opinions on why they think that. And now Drama Alert would post this out saying Mr. Beast called desperate for attention in viral post for trying to promote his show. Again, most people don't promote their shows, promote their films by going into their competitors like content, you know, their tweets and whatnot, and will be like, hey, go watch Kraven the Hunter, hey, go watch Sonic 3 please.
Why is okay? So yeah, see, I mean,
like,
yeah,
this is just cringy. Like, at what level do people just say, yeah, it's cringy? Can they laugh about it before Drama?
it's like if Sonic 3, like their Instagram page or whatever, went into like the Disney page, was like, hey, instead of watching The Lion King or whatever, or was it called Mufasa, watch Sonic 3.
Alert reposts it, right? Midas OW2 says that one friend who's desperate for attention, and yeah, it's those tweets of Beast under these comments with 2 million views, and it's just the reality, you know. It's kind of like this tweet right here, which became a meme from the Hello Neighbor Twitter account, Tiny Build, saying, I believe MatPat GT is going to enjoy this. I think MatPat will enjoy dissecting this. Yes, MatPat, you should totally reply to our DMs. And it's
I get it.
when it comes to things like Beast Games or Mr. Beast in general, you can't get people to watch it by just constantly being in their face and obnoxious about that. That's going to make people want to see it even less. When you want something to just naturally get viewed by people, you'll just make content that's good. You'll put out a trailer and people will come watch it or come buy it, come enjoy it, because they're naturally inclined to enjoy what you've created. They don't want to see you under every single Squid Games post, mind you, your live reenactment version.
Because here's the thing about this, right? Why is he doing it in the first place? It has to be low viewership at that point. Because you have, if you're that desperate, it has to be low viewership. Because I mean, does he? Let me check. Does he have a trailer for Beast Games? It's probably in a video, right? But does he have a standalone trailer? Let me see. Mr. Beast. Yeah, I think this is the trailer. Let me see. Okay, yeah, so 2 weeks ago, blah, blah. 129 million views for just this. Dude. 129, imagine if just even 50% of his viewership went to that. That's still like 60 million people that could go watch. You know, 60, 65, whatever. But you know, it's... like at least a few million views. I mean, I think at least a few million views, but I'm not seeing any of my friends talk about it. So I don't think it's good. Like okay, it was only one video. He had okay. Yeah, this was his last video of 2 months ago. Okay. Yeah. Let me see. Ad block. Ooh, 172,000 dislikes, 3.8 million upload. Okay. So is this? Oh, okay. I feel like I've seen this before, or I saw somebody else talk about it. Okay. This was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, fuck it.
Version, of course, minus like, you know, the executions and whatnot, but you pretty much made like a real life version of Squid Games, and now you're under every Squid Games post like, oh, go watch my show too, please, IGN gave me a 2, please go watch it. Now here's an example of Prime Video themselves, Amazon's own 5 million subscriber channel, posting the first 10 minutes of Beast Games, and it only gets 23,000 likes or views. in 3 days, right? And obviously this is funny looking. This is just the reality. People do not care about this show. They care about Mr. Beast, right? And nobody wants to watch a prime show of this, right? This could have easily been a YouTube series, YouTube content like the other stuff he's been producing for the past 5 years. Now it just has Amazon's name and logo stamped all over it, which if anything makes it even worse. And that's the end of the video. Yeah,
because let's be honest, Amazon, not the best for human rights and, you know, treating their workers with respect either. But how do you get to that? How did you get lower than that? For the Beast games, Jesus Christ, dude. That means you have some serious problems.
Cringy. Mr. Beast is going out of his way to pretty much like beg people to watch his show. At least that's the way I take it. You don't have to agree. You could say, oh, it's just promoting, it's just marketing. He's allowed to comment on whatever he wants. He can say, go watch my, that's fine, whatever. I just think it's cringy.
It's cringy, but it's not just cringy. No, you know what it is? It's not cringy. It's like a needy girlfriend. That's what it is. It's like somebody like, please spend time with me. Please spend time with me. Please spend time with me. And you're like, dude, just chill. If I want to watch it, I'll watch it. If I want to spend time with you, I'll spend time with you. Like, jeez, okay. Ironic in my situation right now.
Videos or other YouTubers' Twitter accounts, it was like, oh, well, my new video also drops in 1 hour. Like, it's cringy. It's just weird, especially coming from someone of Mr. Beast's scale, trying to compete with Squid Games, which is fiction. They're completely separate pieces of media. Sure, they might share like the element of like being a game show where people do challenges for money, but it's just overall really strange. And I want to know what you guys think down below. Let me know why I'm wrong. Let me know why I'm a Mr. Beast hater. And yeah, I appreciate you watching. Hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and whatever. Much love. Bye.
What the fuck? Some creepy shit, okay. And life parents is TikTok, okay.
One of the many amazing things you viewers have done for me is given me the opportunity to travel. I've visited parts of the world that aren't flat and full of cows, and I've been able to see beaches besides, as Charles Barkley puts it, that dirty-ass Galveston water.
We're not even gonna send them to Cancun.
I completely understand and feel this.
To Galveston with that dirty ass water be washing up on the shore. You people think they're in the beach.
And I've loved it. If I could take the sound of waves crashing against a pebbled shore as a supplement, or bottle the crisp cold air whistling through Rocky Mountain pines and hit that like a vape pen, I'd probably
fucking Christ, okay.
A lot less. Which is to say, I completely understand the appeal of van life. To be able to hoist your metaphorical anchor and go wherever your non-metaphorical wheels can take you without leaving home behind. But the popularization of van life content over the past few years has raised some really interesting ethical questions. For instance, how many people is too many living in one van?
Therapy
A date
this
and their
week.
foster dog?
Yeah,
Sounds
therapy
pretty
this week.
cozy. But what if we add another person?
No.
Another?
Okay.
How about a few more? Well, as long as every one of those people is an adult capable of consenting to snuggling up like so many sardines in a sexy, slimy sardine can, I don't really see a problem with it. But as with most things in life, this gets a little more complicated once children are involved. Last year, I made a video about a concerning type of content interrupting my feed of sepia-toned travel vlogs set to calming music and tan-tattooed women decorating decommissioned kidnapper vans that I used to let my brain wander the country while my feet stayed firmly planted under the desk at my 9 to 5. Children carted around like carry-on luggage with less square footage than our country's worst criminals, while TikTok users were voyeurs to their monetized misery. Children whose comfort and privacy.
So the bunk bed situation, I think, yeah, you see, that's good for like a vacation, I think. I feel like that's just too cramped, because even for me, so I used to live, so if y'all don't know about this, when I first started college, for a little bit, I lived in an RV. you know, like a small space, and that was good. That was like my first time, had that little experience, you know, moving out, you know, cooking, stuff like that, and it was fine. But that was one person. I had a nice king size mattress or queen, I can't remember, and a couple of VCRs, you know, small TVs, CRT TVs in it. You know, I had my laptop at the time. I was going to college, and it was fine for me by myself. Maybe one other person would have been, you know, maybe snug, but I cannot imagine that size, or even like a little bit bigger than that, to have any more than maybe one child. But even then, I need my privacy and my alone time. I don't think I would get that in that area with more than like a couple people. Because, dude, I just can't. Especially, I mean, yeah, it was good when I was a single person, like, you know, like a single in 2 meetings. But yeah, yeah.
They were sacrificed for a new, groovy, alternative lifestyle their parents had chosen for them with no ability to opt out. That video has more views than anything else I've posted to YouTube. It basically jump-started the channel and is the reason I finally left my respectable grown-up job to do this reputation-ruining bullshit for a living. Please like and subscribe to keep a future unemployed influencer off the streets and out of your neighborhood. But that was 2023 Funky Frogbait. 2024 Funky Frogbait is smarter, stronger, hotter, has more subscribers and much cooler hair, so I'd like to take another crack at this topic. While I still like my original video, there's a lot I would have done differently, and today I want to take a more empathetic approach with some extra cinematic flair. So I hope you've grabbed some snacks and emptied your bladder, because we have a long road ahead. Wait, hold on, wait.
Did she rent this van, or did she actually live in it? Oh.
But
like
first,
shit.
a quick
I was like, I
pit stop for
feel like
today's
she rented it. Oh shit.
Pi.org. Look, everyone.
Okay, so Pi.org is the one that is made from the creator of Honey, right?
Hates ads. I can see your.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's keep going.
There's so much space for activities. You could fit like at least.
Okay, so she rented this.
In this bad boy. First, let's revisit some of the families that I covered back in 2023. Bright and Peachy was an account that I used as an example at the beginning of my video. Because I'm an idiot. That's right, guys. I f***ed up, like, right out of the gate. At the time I was gathering clips, this TikTok had been re-uploaded all over the internet without context, and used by multiple content creators as evidence of child abuse even after the family had deleted it. Instead of confirming this for myself, I blindly believed that the family lived in the van full time, and didn't realize I was wrong until several months later.
But apparently a lot of people missed it, that this is our camper van that we use for obviously camping, road trips, traveling. So the kids' bunk beds do look a little bit smaller from the outside because we had to put railings on them because our kids are little toddlers and they will roll out of bed if not.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, if it's like this, like, you know, temporary type stuff, that seems to be
This is a great time to
doable.
Introduce the following handy acronym. Always assume secondary sources are suspect, aka ass. As in my research skills, we're ass. This family lives in a normal wheelless house most of the time, and even though these little boys seem to be dragged through the wilderness enough that Mother Nature is co-parenting them, they should not have been included. And that's my bad. I would hope that I've gotten much better at vetting my sources before including them in these larger conversations. I considered chopping their section out of my original video, but that just seemed like a really lame response after all of this time, so instead, let it stand as a testament as to why you should not believe everything a YouTuber tells you. Go leave a hate comment. Say Funky Frogbait sucks. Add research under that video. Go, go, go! I also talked about on an account called the Wild Thorn Baileys who blocked me. Thank God. Time to put that computer engineering degree gathering dust in my parents' attic to use.
I feel that completely.
Yeah, blocking is more of a symbolic gesture more than anything else. This family actually upgraded their living situation not long after my post. Wow, that looks fancy. I'm sure the kids have so much more.
And now into the kids' room.
Oh.
Well, I guess it's, technically better, but those mattresses are not beating the Ozempic allegations. If your mattress is thin enough to fit into a pizza box after being folded twice, you have some very expensive surgeries to look forward to in your 50s. That's about 2 inches of cushioning between their malleable child spines and solid plywood.
And you've got the kitty litter and everything like that, but the legs come in and that sits flush with the RV.
The Bailey family has been traveling for 4 years, and their children are still sleeping on thin mats with zero privacy. But beware, Mama Bailey likes to respond to criticism with slam poetry.
I'm told my kids will hate me as teenagers because we choose to connect instead of feeding the monster of disconnect. Opinions based on their own reality of being raised in disconnect.
I'm not
inside houses that
I'm not gonna. Okay, yeah. There's something that's you know, appealing to staying in one spot. For me, there's restaurants and stuff down my street that I go to at any point. Besides like 3 in the morning, because for whatever reason, the Jacket Box over here closes like at 3 or 4.
certainly were not.
So yeah, if I want, I have to drive like fucking 15-20 minutes away.
So please tell me, what is a home? I am not homeless. I am home more. I am more at home than I was ever before. So my home is small. My bills are less. My days are so full being what you call homeless.
You have been warned.
I'm just homeless.
Another family account that I covered, and they also blocked me. This is starting to hurt my feelings. They've been living in their van full-time since 2020 with 2 of their 4 children on a pull-out couch, and since my video back in April of 2023, 2 of their 4 children are still on a pull-out couch, which, I don't know, maybe it's mom and dad's turn to sleep in the living room for a bit? Limited sleeping accommodations are usually the focus of the backlash these van life parents receive. These vehicles are designed to be short-term living spaces, not permanent homes. The Little Orphan Annie starter pack is perfectly sufficient for a summer's vacation, not to grow up in. For van life kids, the vacation never ends. Which is a lot less fun than it sounds.
So this is the kids' bedroom. I find it really spacious.
It's an uncomfortable enough situation that a teenager might even request to stay in a hotel room as a birthday gift, something that an account called Family of Nomads self-reported before quickly taking down the video.
For Addison's 15th birthday, the only thing they wanted was to go to a hotel.
A lot of comments described these kids as blessed or lucky to be able to travel, calling me privileged for even considering that their situation could be potentially abusive. And yeah, it's super cool that they get.
I mean, yeah, traveling every now and then. Like, I think every now and then. I don't know. I think the education system in America is kind of fucked. But also, I think just no education like this would be bad too. I feel like kids need to interact with other kids. You know, have fun, go outside. Enjoy stuff. I mean, like, yeah, they're outside, but just with their family, it's kind of pathetic, kind of sad in some ways. Oh, sorry.
Get to visit like every national park in the US, but it would also be really cool if their bedroom didn't have that galvanized square steel setup. So, is every child who lives in a mobile home being abused? Absolutely not. According to manufactured housing surveys conducted by the US Census, an estimated over 20 million people live in trailer parks, and a lot of those people are parents doing their best. I personally know people who have had to give up housing to move into.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm trying to think. I want to say for a small time we lived in a mobile home, but I don't remember. I know I had a lot of friends that did, so I think we had apartments next to mobile home parks, or like near stuff. I just remember, yeah.
Trailers due to financial hardship, and they didn't whip out the vlogging equipment to celebrate. In contrast, many of these full-time van life TikTok parents gleefully describe how they left their jobs, sold their homes to uproot their families, bragging about the comfort and stability they sacrificed when it's their children's future being thrown under the bus. Or the van.
Hi there, we're the Jones family, and we sold everything to focus on what really matters to us.
They glamorize and promote.
I feel like they're like, yeah, like I hate my job, let's just like travel, but shit, we have kids. Like, I feel like that's the tone I'm getting from this, which is like, I get, but also if you have kids, I think respecting, putting them first is kind of an important thing to do.
Living situation that so many families have been forced to accept. And I guess that just riles up the redneck in me. I focus the majority of my original video on the Bethune.
And if there's any say there's any hot single women in my area, kids win.
Bethune family, a family with 2 parents, 3 children, and for some reason 4 dogs, all living in a small.
Dude, I have 2 dogs in like a house, and I can't do it. There's 3 dogs. At one point in the apartment I was just in, and I can't do that. Like, it's just too much. I can't. I'm like, am I an animal person? I feel like I'm more of a cat person sometimes. Like, I love dogs because I love playing fetch and stuff, like doing that. But also, dude, for a lot of my time, I've had like smaller animals. I've had like pet rats and mice and stuff like that. Birds. And a cat just seems more chill, right? Clean up the cat litter. They don't really want too much from you. Maybe some cuddles or whatever. Might jump up on your lap. That's fine. A dog, they're like, you have to walk it. We want to play fetch fucking now. I want to get the fuck out of this house. And you're like, okay. It's like I did this morning. I got woken up by my dogs. Like the minute I'm barely awake and I move my leg or something, they're just like on me. They're like on the edge of my fucking bed, just like waiting for me.
All bus, and sometimes an even smaller van.
So essentially, we're going to show you how we fit 5 humans and 4 dogs in that little van right there.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
It's quite an engineering marvel, if I do say so myself.
We had found a new property manager, and at this point, our tenants were refusing to pay rent.
They're still very active on their YouTube channel after leaving.
They're landlords? Can I just be honest with you? I think landlords are a piece of shit. Landlords are pieces of shit, and they should probably... Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say.
Leaving TikTok with the mother recording every single moment of their lives on a much nicer camera than I have. What the f is up with that? Their Walmart vlogs have better production quality than my full-length video essays. I need to step up my game. The Bethune parents made a video last year explaining why they retreated from short-form content, and I actually agree with a lot of their points about how the only short-form posts that tend to be consistently successful are those that incite controversy, and how comment sections tend to be much more aggressive because viewers are basing their opinions on a few seconds of footage.
And I just
Okay, I saw like an Instagram story, and I'm gonna tell you all right now. There's nothing more attractive than a girl that can eat and have good taste music. Yeah, just saying.
Short form, and this is to the platforms too. Allow people to be bullies, to be trolls, to hurt other people purposefully, and there's no recourse with that.
But this is also just a convenient way to write off any and all criticism as hate. In fact, you'll notice that a lot of these van life accounts seem to have more posts about their haters than about living in a van, as if they weren't the ones to invite strangers behind the wheel.
We don't want to put out triggering content, especially ones that we had to use our kids to gain views. One person even remarked sexually about Molly, our daughter.
They admit to purposely feeding the algorithm more content of their children to anger viewers and bait engagement. They admit to exposing their children to predators, but instead of pumping the brakes when they started getting creepy comments, they just switched gears. Using your children for content is not unique to van life families, but what I think makes these situations so uniquely sinister is that these kids are isolated in a tiny living space with nowhere to escape the camera.
Exactly. So nowhere to the camera. There's no one else to interact with. I think that is a very big and bad thing.
Even a door to dramatically slam so they can relieve a little pubescent angst. A curtain is just not the same. I can't.
You can't be I mean, I guess you could be kind of dramatic with a curtain, but yeah, not the same type of angst.
Imagine how deeply humiliating it would be to have your childhood documented without your consent and know that it'll be in circulation on the internet forever. But we as viewers are kind of placed in this weird conundrum where we almost have to be thankful that these kids are being exploited so that we can at least keep tabs on them. As one commenter under my original video pointed out, as an abused kid, this kind of life makes child abuse so easy and very hard to track or report. But here comes a new challenger from Europe, an account called Wild Family Life with 3 children living in a tiny camper with their mom, her boyfriend, and her ex-husband. Trigger warning, white people with dreadlocks ahead. Have you ever watched a video that you can just smell? It's like a whole scroll and sniff experience. This is usually where I'd make a cuck chair joke, but there doesn't appear to be enough room for one.
There isn't. For ourselves in our camper with 3 kids?
Whoa, too wild, guys, too wild. We don't want to get demonetized. Again. Speaking of money.
Yeah, how do we get money for food, gasoline, and everything else we need for a living? We work online. We work with Instagram. We work with YouTube. The thing is, we were
influencer
before. We did big bubbles for children on the street. We earned good money with that. But then Corona came, and then you couldn't be on the streets anymore. So we started Instagram and YouTube. For some reason, it started to work, which I'm very thankful for.
You see, this is why so many of these families continue to post despite overwhelmingly negative feedback. It's often the main source of income funding this lifestyle. After all, it's kind of hard to clock into a 9 to 5 if you're in a different time zone every other week. One thing all these van life families have in common.
Actually, that's not true. It's not hard to clock to 9 to 5 if you're in a different time zone. It's just about preparation. I worked for a remote job before, and I had a 9 to 5. I think it was 9 to 5 their time. Central Standard Time at the time, and I was moving around as well. I think I went to Mountain Time for a bit, and it's just about being set up and having your shit together. I just really hated the job though, and I'm pretty sure the manager at the time hated me too. Like, yeah, it was not. There was something just off about the whole job when people started dropping out. When you hire 4 people, and then it's just down to like literally the last 2. And then down to 1, and the person, like, imagine you hire 4 new people, right? And then I guess one of the hires they had before us, we literally got fired or whatever within, 2 or 3, like within the same week we got hired. And that was fishy in my head, right? And he got fired, and he's hitting me up, like, hey, what's going on? And because I was like, okay, I need this guy's number, I need whatever he can before they kick him out of all the chats, because they kicked him out of all the chats within like the same hour he was basically fired. So that was kind of intense. Like for me, in the same day, I think when I quit, they kicked me out of everything. Like literally, I quit that morning, or I put in my 2 weeks notice, did my last day, and within the like next morning, I was already out of the system. So yeah, that job was just sketch. It was like literally hired 4 people, or I guess 3 people, I think. Me and 2 other people, and one person. It was a team of 5 people at the time, and then what else happened? One person was there for like a few years, already kind of kicking and rolling. Yes, that person got fired when the first week we were there, and then this other coworker I had, she quit maybe like 2 months into it or so, and then they put me on like PIP, which is like first thing, and then I was told like I was unprofessional, a bunch of other shit, and dude, at the time, so I was already trying to look for a different job, literally the same time I got hired, because I was like, I'm gonna try this. Within that week, the person getting fired, I was like, okay, I am not gonna try this. I'm going to look for a different job. I will do the best I can while I'm here, but this is not what I want. Or I'm gonna apply to different jobs within the company to not be there, and see how that worked out. It was just bullshit, and I kind of hated it. And then it came down to like me and this other person, and we both applied for jobs, like internal hiring, for different departments, and they got one, I didn't, and then I was like, okay, I am gonna quit. Like, but it was the working from home was easier-ish, but like, dude, the complaints I had were like the weirdest shit ever. It was like, oh, we can hear a TV in the background of you, or, you know, when you're on calls and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, that's my neighbor, or like that's the outside of my car. That's not the TV. That's whatever. It was just bullshit. I'm like, okay, look, if you don't like me, it was because like the funny thing is that was going on when I had like other coworkers like literally managing their kids, or like the manager also had TV on in the background, and they were working from home as well. And I'm like, dude, lay off me and get your shit together. I'm gonna go chill. Like, it was such bullshit. But like the funny thing is, everybody else ever since that job, I've had nothing but like good jobs since then. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, maybe not great, but like definitely less, could be more stressful, but it was like always less, didn't hate my life every fucking morning or every day, because there were definitely times I had breakdowns like during my lunch break because it was bad. Oh, it was fucking bad.
Common, they all,
and like I've had managers yell and shit at me. That's I'm like, I get that. I'm like, okay.
Homeschool because logistically they have to. When the comment section inevitably has questions about how the children are taught, the parents often give concerningly vague answers.
The school thing, yeah, we follow some kind of curriculum. Like, we have this app.
Oh, thank goodness. I was beginning to think that your children's education was being neglected. But then you mentioned the app.
I set their times each day. They do that by themselves. There's nothing I have to do.
Nothing I have to do.
Devices by themselves, sit down and learn, and they can learn according to their interests. So they can always choose what they want to learn. They're not forced to follow a curriculum.
A lot of these parents stress the importance of self-directed and situational learning, but this is kind of code for I don't want to sit down with my kid and figure out how many apples Johnny had.
Yeah, right. Like but that's also like why I don't think I would be good enough to do that, like a homeschool type of thing. Because there are some subjects I either have no patience for, or I just cannot correctly articulate enough, or explain enough that, you know, whatever, that they might not get. So I mean, I could do that for like a few things, but least homeschool people, and then like this weird fan life homeschool shit. It's weird.
As if he gives 2 away to Sally while we both cry from frustration.
Math is math. Math is math.
Our kids have never been to a school. We do something called unschooling, or road schooling, world schooling, homeschooling. The way this education works is when our kids are interested in something, like our son really wants to learn how to make games. He's in a class to learn about coding for games like Minecraft.
Taking your kids' interests into account is great, but you're a parent, so you have to be the bad guy and provide them with structure too. Most kids are not going to naturally love learning fractions. And if they do, they're a weird, nerdy little kid, and you need to bully them. Look, if they're not going to go to public school, they have a lot of peer pressure to catch up on, okay? Ops are crucial for developing social awareness.
They got a point. I mean...
Am I allowed to say ops? Am I too old or too white?
Also, valid questions.
Comment down below. At this point, a lot of YouTubers have made videos on this topic, and a lot of them took a very strong stance against the entire concept of homeschooling, implying that anyone who is homeschooled just turns into a total freak.
I don't think that.
As someone who is homeschooled, I take offense, because they're right. But counterpoint, though this does not extend to our European friends, the US public school system can kind of suck.
Yeah, see, I agree with that.
Especially in low-income areas, fails to set students up for success, ignoring individual strengths and weaknesses, funneling everyone through the same gauntlet of standardized testing into the workforce like so many cows shoved through a chute, and often facing the same fate of devoting their lives to making hamburgers. That is, of course, if they manage to not get shot before their high school graduation. It's a system that certainly does not provide enough support for neurodivergent children or children with disabilities. I think preventing these children especially from learning in an environment that can be catered around their specific needs would be doing them a massive disservice. The Department of Education is probably going to be defunded soon because of reasons, when teachers have already been fleeing to other occupations, so we can safely predict that these problems are only going to get worse, and private schools are not an alternative that the average family can afford. But there is definitely a layer beyond these reasonable fears motivating these van life parents. Strong religious influences fostering distrust in all social programs and a rejection of community outside of the immediate family unit, a preference for natural living and tradition over modern science, all of these crunchy beliefs coming together to make the perfect trail mix for a life that takes that One Rascal Flatts song a little too seriously. I've witnessed the full spectrum of homeschooling outcomes, okay? You can consider me an expert. I've seen homeschooled kids who have excelled in life despite never being allowed to watch SpongeBob, and I've seen homeschooled kids who could have really used just a couple episodes of SpongeBob.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Here in the US, laws surrounding homeschooling vary drastically by state. That's the weird little loophole these van life families have discovered.
We really love the homeschool laws in New Mexico. That was definitely what drew us here over, say, Southern Colorado.
For example, Pennsylvania requires that parents submit documentation yearly to ensure that they're upholding a certain standard of education, whereas in my home state, you could teach your kids that 1 + 1 = 3, and they wouldn't know any better until those college rejection letters started.
And then you get things like repealing affirmative action.
Filling the mailbox. I would never advocate for completely banning homeschooling the way countries like Germany or Greece or the Netherlands have, but considering that full-time van life families like this think going to a science museum counts as studying and a tiny fold-out table is sufficient space to do homework, there definitely is a need for more regulation.
Please let me have a basic education.
One of the most extreme cases that I covered was the Happy Caravan, a family of 12 living in a 30-foot trailer with so little space, some of the children had to sleep on the floor. This situation thankfully only lasted for 2 months while the family was transitioning from San Diego to San Francisco. But if I had been forced to sleep like Saddam Hussein, hiding foot to face with my siblings for 2 months, the weakest ones would not have survived the journey. The Happy Caravan is now a family of 13. Yep, they spawned in another one, living in New York, where 2 of their children attend Juilliard and 1 of them attends the Manhattan School of Music. This seems to be the brand-friendly, predetermined route that the parents have chosen for their kids, with their quest markers set at birth to stringed instruments and prestigious performing arts colleges. I mean, come on. You're telling me not one of these kids wanted to pick up the bassoon or something? You might be thinking to yourself, how can children in such a large family get all of the resources they need for healthy development? And the answer is they're probably not. I don't know the Delamont family personally, so maybe they are just built different. But I was raised around a lot of families who believed that every baby was a blessing from God, even if God forgot to also bless them with the means to care for that baby, cranking out kids like condoms were forbidden in a secret 11th commandment that broke off the bottom of one of the tablets when Moses stubbed his toe coming down Mount Sinai.
Stupid raw, fuck yeah!
These families are often so burdened with parental duties that they miss out on their own childhoods, while space, privacy, attention, and sometimes even food have to be rationed. Though they don't live in a van anymore, the apartment is still very crowded, with the kids stacked up in colorless IKEA showrooms with fold-out bunk beds. In fact, a lot of very well-known full-time van life accounts have abruptly quit, almost as if it's not sustainable or something.
A lot of things have changed, a lot of things happened. We're not living in a camper anymore. We're living in Airbnbs and stuff like that.
It's gone. It's gone. The whole season of our life is gone.
But as these accounts,
the whole season of our life? What the hell?
Has started to shift. Couples proudly posting their parenting failures to TikTok is a widespread issue both on and off the road. One family in particular has raked in millions of views for all the wrong reasons. An account under the username Resilient Jenkins features a family of 6 going on 7 in a 1-bedroom apartment. After multiple posts begging her viewers to make her videos go viral so that her husband could, quote, hump away to give her more babies, Stephanie Jenkins got her wish. But in the way a mean-spirited genie might grant it. The account did go viral after TikTok users realized that while the 4 children were sleeping on mattresses in the living room with a blanket nailed over the front window, the parents were enjoying the privacy of the only bedroom, comfortably furnished, with a PS5 and flat-screen TV for dad. Viewers were even more outraged when they realized that the husband, Andrew Jenkins, had another child he'd abandoned from a previous relationship.
Let's address the child support thing.
Child support? Okay. The child support and child. I have the one other child, Anthony. I've been paying child support via Garner.
What is this twist?
Ever since I can remember.
Hey man, how about we put the controller down and 360 no-scope some financial responsibility? How about we get the high score on being a father to those kids? But with the floods of negativity came off.
Like, I don't get this. So if I was in that situation, even like right now, I would be hunting down jobs like it was nobody's fucking business. Yeah, like what the fuck, dude? Like, I don't know about making how much money, but like, you know, enough to be substantial, you know, financially okay, you know, like that's kind of what I want.
opportunity that the parents quickly took advantage of. The kid's situation did begin to improve, but only because viewers bought gifts from the family's Amazon wish list. This didn't stop Andrew from taking credit for the shoes strangers bought for his children, of course, while Stephanie praised him for being such a good, hardworking father. But since your husband is just working so many hours and breaking his brain to calculate the needs of his children, let me simplify the equation for y'all real quick. Poverty doesn't make you a bad parent, but your priorities do. And it's very clear from what you've shared with the public that you have prioritized your wants over your children's needs over and over and over and over again. Getting pregnant when you can't even take care of the children you already have, bouncing between side hustles instead of getting a stable job, buying pets when your children are sleeping on the floor. Every day those cats are in that cramped apartment is a day that you've actively chosen to compromise your children's well-being by giving up space, money, and cleanliness to animals that you're not even properly taking care of. Resilient is the best word to describe what your children will have to be after the way you have failed them. But countless comments later, the Jenkins have responded to criticism the same way every single family we've covered has, by refusing to take any accountability and accusing viewers of being #haters.
I never took nobody's viral moment to try to get my own, especially not slandering their name. But go ahead, keep on posting your updates about my family and building your content and all your base of your followers off my back. Go ahead. Now low-key try to put a snake between me and my man, but we step on that thing's head together. I saw some shish about my family in previous videos, but we have our ups and downs like any family do. But when it comes down to it, I know they have my back.
I think she cycled through, what, 3 different accents in that clip? Is there also a dialect coach on your Amazon wish list? But as Stephanie continues to milk money from TikTok Shop, viewership has already started to dwindle. You see, I'm way behind everyone else. They've all done their TikTok stitches and video essays already. They've moved on to the newest parental pariah, Nurse Hannah, who became the center of controversy after she filmed the 17
Okay, so it just went from van life parents of TikTok to just abusive parents, is what I'm getting at.
diapers left around her house.
Let's pick up all the dirty diapers I have lying around my house right now. So I'm counting just 4 diapers right here on the coffee table.
Got another one on the couch. Oh, found 2 more. Okay, so right away I'm seeing 1, 2, 3 diapers. Got 8, 9, 10 diapers. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I think if I counted right, that's 17 diapers lying around my house. No wonder my house freaking stinks right now.
After millions of views, the 17 diapers video brought her all the way to New York to speak on a talk show, and she was very optimistic that she could get even more business opportunities out of it.
I am currently in New York City because of 17 diapers. I am now known as the 17 diaper mom. That's probably gonna follow me forever. I was on a talk show yesterday. That's insane. That's freaking insane. But I want to take it kind of to the next level.
She was the realistic mom rep that so many women wanted. But as Hannah shared more about her family, it quickly became clear that she was not quite as relatable as her audience thought.
Feels like 8 degrees. And we're venturing out of the house with 2 kids. It turned winter in like 0.2 days, and this kid doesn't have a big jacket, so I need to find him a big jacket. I'm sorry, but I can't spend $35 on a toddler jacket. I don't spend $20 on clothes for myself. Why would I spend $20 on? I'm not changing my kid's diaper when they pee. I've never done that. Do you know how expensive diapers are? If you bite, I'm gonna bite you. Not hard, but like enough that like, hey, that doesn't feel good.
Her refusal to provide necessary care, the aggressive way she handles her children, and the multiple clips of her
weird as fuck
lynching away from his own parents indicates problems far worse.
Yeah, some of this is okay. You know, me being like the I guess the first child of like my family, or you know. There's definitely things that my mother has done to my brother and sister that I would not get away, like that she wouldn't do with me. There are things I did not get away with that my younger siblings do. Like if I snuck out, I'd be grounded, my game system be taken away. I probably got spanked. Now it's like, my mom's like, yeah, I'm just gonna take away their phones. And I'm like, they have phones? Dude, I didn't have a phone until I was like, what, high school or something? Older than that? God.
17 diapers, with commenters even comparing her to ex-family vlogger
Ruby Frankie is absolutely comical. It's hilarious, really. We live in a world nowadays where people will turn nothing into something.
But after a while, people are gonna get bored of her too, and move on to someone else with no lessons learned and nothing changed. When posting child neglect results in being rewarded with gifts, money, and attention, how can we expect anything different? I mean, Hannah literally got verified by TikTok because she was raking in so many views. I've been making content for that platform for years. Whose child do I have to neglect to get my verification badge, TikTok? There will always be Nurse Hannahs. There will always be Jenkins, and there will always be van life parents. And right now, with the way the internet works, they're incentivized to get worse, not better. So what do? Do we keep responding to this type of content, knowing that the parents profit from it? Do we ignore and keep scrolling, leaving these kids to their fate? Do we appeal to available government services, despite the fact that they so often mishandle these cases and might put the children in a worse situation? It's fun to call out wannabe influencer parents, to make jokes about how selfish and delusional they are. I felt like a real hero after I put out my first video, as if I'd somehow saved these kids by writing snarky jokes in my bedroom. It's a lot less fun to acknowledge that countless children who live in your neighborhood, who go to your school.
So this made me think, and I want.
Vans, apartments, and houses all over the world, who don't have enough space, who don't have enough food, who don't have enough love in their lives. It's a lot harder to make jokes about that. You can't fix that by leaving a comment under a TikTok you don't like. You can't fix that by making a video essay. I've been working on this video on and off for the past year, and I'm still not happy with it because I don't have an answer, and I definitely don't feel like a hero. I just feel really frustrated and helpless. But what I can do right now is put some resources in the description that I've been looking into, and all I can ask is that we just keep an eye out for the kids around us that might not be having a very good Christmas this year.
Oh yeah. That was a good transition.
Hey, where did everybody
go? Okay. I think that's where I'm gonna call it for this. I'm putting the stream later. Yeah, I'm putting the stream later. Playing some games. But for right now, I got to get off, and I'm going to really work out for a minute and do some stuff. But yeah, nice talking to everybody that was here. Thank you so much. Hope you all enjoyed my little ranting and shit. Yeah. What else? I'm probably gonna raid somebody. Just give me a second. Who would I raid? Yeah, I'll raid this Luna. Okay, give me a second.